Look at these two images and tell me if you see a difference. The answer is ops, the lack of them on the left side. The right is me, by the way, the left is Watson. So why is his lane opposition free? More so, why isn't there a single soul in a mile radius of this water gun? And why can't I have that? Well, it's not that simple. Let me just show you. Valve classifies Morphling as a difficulty 3 hero, and I mostly agree. He's definitely not easy to pick up, and if you ever wanted to learn how to play him, you might want to watch a replay of one of the best Morphling players to ever do it. You would surely learn a lot more than by just playing yourself, right? For the most part, yeah, but I feel like laning for Morphling is very deceptive when it comes to high ranks and professional matches like these. In 5 games that I definitely didn't handpick to feed the narrative, in 3 of them the lane was completely stomped. 1 was a draw and 1 was a loss. Satanic went 0-3 in 10 minutes, but still he wasn't really behind in net worth. Naturally, one might draw a conclusion that Morphling is an insanely strong laner. He always finds his net worth and he defends his tower until the end of times. That was before one stumbled upon a Parker replay. If you want to learn this hero, I would advise you to avoid this personality at all costs. This shit is not healthy. Back to the conclusion, and it's sort of right, but there are a lot of hidden factors that you just can't spot while watching a replay, and they're the main reason behind Morphling free farming all the time. Let's go back to the empty wasteland and keep backing up until it looks like normal laning again. Last hero to leave this lane was Primal Beast, enemy's offlaner. He can't even dream of killing Morphling 101, and even trading farm would be pretty difficult. Besides, this hero is really good at pulling waves and double farming them in safe spots. Morphling wouldn't lose anything if Primal kept laning, and Watson can't even pressure the tower because he never has the wave. He can't chase Primal either, so he is forced to free farm. Sounds ridiculous, I know, but Radiant team is well aware of the fact and they chose to pressure other lanes instead. Second to last hero to leave this lane was Chen, enemy's support, which is kind of an absurd example, but there are a lot of heroes besides Chen that if paired with Primal Beast cannot do anything to Morphling. They need to drag their mid laner if they want to pressure the tower, which is gonna be difficult. That's why Chen chose to stack triangle at 550 and then control the rune at 6 minutes, which is a default route for most position 4 players. It's very rare to see a high rank support that keeps laning after 6 minutes of time, because runes matter a lot more than a couple of nukes to an invincible hero. And finally, the first hero to leave this lane was Jakiro, Morphling support. He won enough time to get Morphling a few levels, and then he gated bottom at 5 o'clock. It actually led to a double kill on Rager and Tusk, but he has no intention of coming back, as he is now aiming for the upcoming active rune. The reason why Jakiro left in the first place is pretty simple. Level 4 Morphling is basically unkillable here, so they might try to kill him instead. By leaving, he allowed Watson to have all of the XP for himself, and he actually minimized his own chances of dying to practically 0. Even if they didn't get that double kill on the bottom lane, this was undeniably the right decision making from Malady. Another thing to consider is that these are professional games. Both teams are sitting in a Discord call discussing their strats. Chances are, even before the game started, Radiant decided to give Morphling free farm and apply pressure on other parts of the map. And since it's a professional game, it also features Captain's Mode as the drafting system. Morphling was third to last picked hero, meaning he already knew both enemy lanes. Watson saw a free game and called Morphling late in the draft. In a normal pub game, you won't always see the enemy lane, so you would have to pick one of the most matchup dependent heroes practically blind. But even if you could watch a high rank pub game, you're still talking about people like Satanic, Yatolo, and Watson. There's no particular reason why enemies would be scared to dump all of their mana onto you. But if they were laning against one of the best Morphling players in the world, they won't even attempt to kill them, as they know it would be just a waste of time. So how do you even get here? Well, for one thing, Yatolo wasn't always known, but he was always insanely good at Morphling. It was his best hero way before he joined Spirit. Seeing full enemy lane is basically half the problem. If they don't have scary nukes, chain stuns, or pure damage, you'll most likely be fine. The other half is surviving until level 4. Before this point, Morphling is super weak and depends a lot on his support hero. In the draft phase, I would always suggest broken position 5s, which will guarantee that I have a good lane. And if you end up with something like Invoker as your left hand, Morphling can manage that better than any other hero. If you survive long enough, you will always come out on top. There are very few heroes that can contest you levels 5 and above. And if you find yourself losing a lot of matchups, try to play safer for the first few minutes. Pay attention to your support, don't commit early, and don't forget about tadpoles. If you lose lane control early, they're your saviors. If enemies pile up on your lane and you are forced to leave, from here you have a few options. You can go jungling, which we'll discuss in a bit. You can TP mid as long as nobody's there. Most of the time it's a free wave and you can pressure the most important early objective basically for free. You can also gate bottom. Ideally you would get a kill and take down the tower, trading them. And if your offlaner is a good boy, he's gonna let you have this entire area to yourself. Morphling is not the best jungler. He hates losing his tower, and farming neutrals early on is pretty terrifying. But if you really can't contest your lane anymore, you can always pray for a chipped vest or a possessed mask. It will make your life in the jungle a lot easier.
Please! Oh my god! Oh.
So, new patch came out, and honestly, it didn't change anything that I've said so far. Morphling became goofy, and you have to live with it. You can't give up on him now. I can really highlight only two things. Torm is no longer a thing. It is impossible to kill by yourself. Ancients matter again. There's only 2 camps on the entire map, so if you want to scale faster and be the highest net worth, you have to farm them. Not your mid laner, not your off laner. TP in the triangle, slap them on the wrist, and farm the big dogs. Big fat liar here. It's actually a bit more than 2 things. Stats no longer do anything, now you just max adaptive. Morph now inherits the primary stat of your target. Basically, if you morph into anyone other than an agility hero, you will deal 0 damage. And you no longer additionally attack waveform targets. For absolutely no reason. In case you thought life was all rainbows and butterflies, I guess. In game it's super obvious. Which is why people now go 0-1-3. Yatolo gets a Sage Mask and just spams Adaptive Strike. It gives you range control and better resource management, at the expense of kill potential. You will not be killing anyone with this build. You can still play with waveform running around the fight, but now it's equally good to take attack range and just be a turret. What was I gonna say? Oh, next time you find a beehive on your lane, don't get too mad. They just don't know any better. And if they don't get to you, they're really hurting themselves. Communication here is priceless. If you can snatch yourself a good position 5, it will take care of most things. Don't drag people onto your lane, and more often than not, tell them to leave you alone. As Malady was actually the first player to leave Watson's lane, and a few minutes later, he was all by himself, leading against hard-coded, primitive AI. And as the legend once told me, go next and keep yourself safe.